Learning how to give feedback correctly is a vital tool to improving your team's performance. And just like that annoying, patronizing friend that you no longer speak to, so many people are incredibly bad at giving feedback. So I'm going to give you 6 tips on how to improve your feedback. Tip 1. So this is really giving feedback in a genuine manner. You really have to have the other person's best interests at heart. It's not about gaining dominance, it's not about putting people down, it's really about improving their skills and pushing them forward. Tip 2, make it specific with this formula. So tell them what they've done wrong, why that's wrong, and then tell them the end goal. So the best leaders I've worked for have always said that this is the end goal and you need to get here. And they've never told me how to get there specifically, but they've just given me that end goal. So I've got the kind of responsibility to figure that out. So, okay, taking that in mind, let's look at some examples. So a bad example is the landing page is terrible. Come back when you've learned how to design properly and give me 2 more options. So that example is gonna wreck the person's confidence, and it doesn't tell them anything. It just says what you've done is wrong, go away and do it again. So a good example is, I feel the landing page isn't working as good as it could be, and I think that's because the text is a little bit confusing above the fold. So can you rewrite that headline to convey the value to the customer about our product, and then come back with 2 more options? Okay, thanks. So you can really see the difference in those 2 examples there. The first one just criticizes, doesn't give any direction, and the second one tells them exactly what is wrong and then where they need to get to, and then just says thanks at the end, because you've got to be polite. Tip 3 is to make it frequent. So you should always be in contact with your team constantly, and even if they haven't done anything that needs kind of correcting, or they haven't done anything bad, you should still give them feedback and say, hey, I love how you've launched that site early, and that's gonna make us hit our targets early. So you tell them what they've done and then what impact it's going to have. Tip 4 is make sure your feedback comes directly after an event where you want to correct behavior or you want to reward somebody. So don't wait until your next kind of review or meeting, because it just won't be fresh in your head. You'll forget the details, and also your team members going to not kind of link that to that event. They're not going to connect it as well like 2 weeks later. So when something happens, say, hey, I'm going to give you feedback on this right now, and that's a lot more efficient than waiting and collecting all your feedback. Tip 5, don't use absolute terms. So for example, don't say something like, your presentation was terrible, please make it better next time. So to correct that, we can use words like, I think and I feel. So a good example would be, I feel your presentation could be improved. Perhaps try thinking about making it a little bit shorter and then maybe telling a story with the data. And then I think then your presentation will be a lot better. So using those terms kind of makes it less like a fact that your work is terrible and more like, right, it's my opinion that you could do X, Y, Z and you can improve it. And also giving that direction how to improve it, they're going to feel like you're actually helping them rather than just telling them off like some kind of bad teacher or something. Okay, tip number 6 is don't dismiss ideas straight away. The amount of times like somebody's come to me and said, hey, we'd like to do this, X, Y, Z, what do you think? And then my initial thought is, oh, no, that's not gonna work, that's silly. And then I have to take a step back and think, rather than say, that won't work, I try to think, like, how can you make it work? Because perhaps it's a great idea and I'm just dismissing it straight away. So for example, a bad example would be, okay, that idea isn't very good, the sales team will never approve that. So to turn that around and give it a more positive spin, we can say something like, okay, that's really interesting, but how can you make the sales team kind of buy into that idea to make that work? So then your team members are going to think about, right, I'm going to flesh out these ideas. There's more than kind of what appears in the brief. There's kind of politics involved, and I need to get buy-in from this. So they learn how to kind of sell ideas, and that also leaves you open to new ideas as well. Because on the surface, something may sound a bit silly, but when you unpack the idea, that could be a new way of thinking. Okay, I hope those simple tips are going to really help you improve how you give feedback to your team. Here at Idea Bloom, we're developing a new workshop based around how to improve motivation in your team. If that sounds something you're interested in, please get in contact.